All right, listen up. This is an urgent security advisory. We are tracking multiple critical remote code execution vulnerabilities in the n8n workflow automation platform. If you're running n8n, you need to stop what you're doing and pay immediate attention. Let's get into it. Just look at this timeline. This isn't a slow burn, it's a rapidly cascading crisis. It starts with an RCE disclosure on December 22nd. Just 3 days later, on Christmas Day no less, it's publicly weaponized with the n8n God Mode exploit kit. By early January, attackers don't even need credentials anymore. And then by February 5th, any patches you might have applied are made completely useless by a critical mitigation bypass. The whole thing blew up in less than 2 months. And this illustrates the scale of the problem. Our intel has identified over 100,000 potentially vulnerable internet-facing n8n instances. The attack surface here is absolutely massive. And we have confirmation that threat actors are actively scanning for and exploiting these systems as we speak. Now, let's be crystal clear. The objective of this advisory is to arm you, the defenders, with immediate actionable intelligence. We practice coordinated vulnerability disclosure. This is about protecting the perimeter and forcing a permanent, robust fix from the vendor. Okay, before we dive deeper into the technicals, we're going to do a quick comms check. It's vital that we secure this channel for ongoing intelligence. First, subscribe. And I'm not just asking. For real-time threat intelligence like this, think of it as a security necessity. It's your early warning system. Second, hit the like button. That's your formal ACK, your acknowledgement that you have received this intelligence transmission. And finally, comment with your status. Are you patched or vulnerable? This intel helps us map the blast radius and understand the community's exposure. Comms check complete. All right, now let's move into the threat analysis. We're going to break down the full impact and the protocol you need to follow for containment. The core threat we're dealing with is remote code execution, or RCE. For anyone who needs a refresher, this is the attacker's holy grail. It means they can run any command they want on your server right over the network. We're not just talking about data access, we're talking about total system compromise. Game over. And look at the devastating impact across the entire CIA triad. Confidentiality is gone. Attackers can just hoover up API keys, database credentials, any sensitive data flowing through your workflows. Integrity is compromised. They can silently change your automation logic, corrupting your data or sabotaging operations from the inside. And availability? They can shut down critical workflows or just take the whole server offline. It's a total loss of trust in the platform. So, how exactly are attackers achieving this? We're going to break down the technical mechanics of the exploit chain. You've got to understand the attack path to build an effective defense. The attack flow is a classic 4-step process. First, the attacker gets access. This could be with low-level user credentials or, much more dangerously, through a public-facing, unauthenticated webhook. Second, they inject a malicious bit of JavaScript into a standard workflow node. Third, and this right here is the critical flaw, that expression escapes its sandbox. It breaks out and gets direct access to the server's underlying Node.js runtime. From there, it's all over. Step 4, execution. They can run any operating system command they want with the full permissions of the n8n process itself. This slide really gets to the heart of the architectural failure. See, n8n expected its expression engine to act like a safe, little isolated calculator. You put in 2 + 2, you get out 4. Simple. But the reality was disastrously different. Because of improper sandboxing, the expression inherited the entire Node.js global context. An attacker could simply reference this and get their hands on incredibly powerful objects like process for environment variables and require for loading system modules. The boundary between simple configuration and executable code was completely erased. All right, let's pivot to the most important part of this advisory, the mandatory patch directives. This is the actionable intelligence you need to contain this threat right now. Pay very close attention to this matrix. The initial vulnerabilities, both the authenticated RCE and the unauthenticated one, they were patched. But here's the problem. Those patches were then superseded by the mitigation bypass, CVE-2026-25049. So the crucial point is this. Applying an older patch is not enough. You are only secure if you upgrade to version 1.123.17 or 2.5.2 and newer. Anything less is considered vulnerable, period. Look, if for some operational reason you absolutely cannot patch immediately, these are your emergency short-term mitigations. First, disable all public-facing webhooks and forms. Lock down workflow creation permissions to only your most trusted admins. run the n8n process as a non-root user with minimal privileges, and use network segmentation to isolate the instance from the rest of your network. But I have to stress, these are just stopgap measures. They reduce the risk, they do not eliminate it. Patching is the only real solution here. Let's conclude with our final advisory. It is vital to understand the lesson from this crisis and what the path forward has to be. So, after seeing this timeline of cascading failures, the exploit kits, the bypasses, what is the single most important lesson we should be taking away from all of this? This is it. This is the core truth. These workflow automation engines inherently blur the line between what looks like simple configuration and what is actually powerful executable code. The fundamental lesson here is that trusting user-supplied expressions without a truly draconian, provably secure sandbox, well, it's a fatal architectural flaw. This systemic risk is what made this entire crisis possible in the first place. And one final critical warning. The entire n8n 1.x version branch is now end of life. If your organization is still running on it, you will not receive any future security patches. You are permanently exposed. Migrating to the 2.x branch isn't optional. It's a security mandate. That concludes this advisory. Implement these directives immediately to protect your systems. Stay secure.